Are you listening to this episode on Himalaya? If you are, congratulations, because you're already using the best new podcast app out there. If you're not, well, you're a loser and missing out. So get it together. Whether you're a podcaster or a fan, Himalaya is designed with you in mind and has a ton of cool new features like curated shareable playlists and collections made just for you, along with personalized recommendations to help with content discovery. And the best part is, it's super easy to use. It's definitely my favorite listening app, and I'm sure it will be yours too. So do yourself a favor and download Himalaya today, and be sure to follow my show, Worst Firsts, once you're there. Bye. Okay, everybody. You loving that cool intro music? I'm so happy with it. I used to have the lamest intro music, and now my intro music is so much better. It's
just like the old school circus music.
No, it's like the that was more like my first yeah, intro music was like horrible. Yeah, it was horrible. Now it's like actually decent. It's actually kind of cool, which is nice, and I appreciate that. Thank you, Studio 71. You guys are the best. Guys, my guest today. He is a very, very funny man, and he's a ginger, which we love on the show. We love some gingers. We had Andrew Santino on, your fellow ginger. And Steve, say if I'm saying your last name, Hofstetter.
That is correct.
Did I do it right?
You did it right. And I also appreciate you wearing a matching shirt.
I did. I knew you were coming, so I wore an orange shirt because I wanted to make you feel more at home.
I appreciate that.
I wanted to make you... Did you see the MIA video where she murders all the redheads?
I have seen that, and I mean, I understand that it's like it's supposed to show that like if you hate a group of people for what they look like, it's ridiculous.
Yes.
But I think it
was kind of gnarly.
It more just encouraged people to kill redheads.
People. Yeah, exactly. Dude, if you guys haven't seen this video, you need to look up the artist MIA. I don't remember which song it was. You?
I don't remember the song.
But there's a video. If you just put up MIA killing redheads video, it's like the most gnarly thing where it's like all these redheads just getting
they like go
murdered.
and like hunt down. They're like hunting people down for being a redhead, which is not far off from how I grew up. So
do you know a lot of redhead facts?
I think I know a good amount of redhead facts.
Like what percentage of people in the world are redheads?
Under 2%.
Under 2%?
Yeah.
So you're like really rare.
I am even more rare because I'm also
really rare.
I'm also Jewish.
You're a Jewish
which
guy.
is also less than 2%, and it's also not like a huge cross section of people. So there aren't a ton of redheaded Jews, but when I meet one, it's we just
you guys have like
bond.
A weird like avatar connection. There's like
Absolutely.
You guys touch tails and like the world.
Sometimes
kinda.
when I move my arm, they move their arms.
I love that. Wait, so Hofstetter's German.
It is, but I'm not. I have a crazy story about how I got the name.
Okay, you want to tell that?
So,
is that part of your worst first?
No, that's just my origin story, I guess.
So it's just
I'll just tell it quickly.
I try to make your life story a bad story. I'm like, so your origin story of your name is the worst?
No, my origin story, the name, it's kind of badass. So during the Franco-Prussian War, my family's last name was Alperovich.
Wow,
and
totally.
Yeah. We were Russian, Ukrainian, and Polish. And so then were you trying to?
She's just gonna love you on
jump
you.
down there.
Yeah.
All right. So meanwhile, the Hofstetters were they were wealthy, and they paid us to pretend to be them to go to war on their behalf, so that they wouldn't have to go to war. Because this is pre-Google.
They paid your family members to pretend
to be,
so they didn't have to go to battle.
Yeah, because there was conscription.
What a bunch of assholes.
Yeah, but we lived, and so we kept the more prestigious name. And so, I come from a family of hired mercenaries, I guess.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool. But also, because I'm a comic, all the time, like if people see my name, whether it's like in the paper on a marquee or whatever it is, they want to come to a show and see if we're related. And I just say, are you Jewish? And if they are a Jewish Hofstetter, then like 90% of the time they came from the same, from that origin. Every now and then it's like through marriage, but for the most part it's...
Do people come to see you because they see your name and they feel related? They're
that
related.
happens sometimes. Yeah, I'll get
we
people...
We have the same last name. I thought we could hang out. Oh my God.
I get that. I had one at a college show where I had a distant cousin at the school, and he was like a really sweet kid, but he just...
So you're like, I don't want to hang out with this loser.
Well, no, he wasn't, he wasn't popular. He was a younger kid.
Yeah, so he's a loser.
Yeah, I don't...
You're like, I don't want to... You're like, I get we're related, but...
He's,
yeah.
Well, kidding. No, it wasn't that. It was great because he, and the show was hosted by a sorority. And so, like, there were all these, like, very attractive women there, like, talking to me after the show. And he was just kind of standing there. I'm like, hey, this is my cousin. Come say hi to my cousin. No, I was trying to help him. I didn't care. I didn't care about these college kids,
You're like,
you know?
put your Dungeons and Dragons cards away. I'm trying to introduce you to chicks.
I'm trying to get you
damn
laid,
it,
man.
Trevor.
Yeah.
Get your shit together.
Yeah,
oh, my God.
So sometimes it's, it's good.
What a cool story about your last name, though.
It's a crazy story. And it's something I didn't find out until I was 22.
Did anyone in your family ever keep the real last name? Or no, everyone
I mean, I'm
became a
sure.
Hofstetter?
I'm sure I have, their Alpoviches that I'm probably related to through the years, but that was, 150 years ago, and so anyone who descended from that
is so crazy.
Now, yeah, it's a nutty origin story.
I just it's so funny because the whole podcast is about worst first, and it's about your worst experiences. But I just love meeting people and learning about them. So I just want to keep asking you so many more questions. Also,
sure.
are you an East Coaster?
Shit we can get to too. From Queens.
I can tell. Yeah, your accent. So you grew up in Queens.
Yeah, it's weird. Most people can't tell.
I heard it in a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, he's not even from LA, which I love.
Where
I'm
are you
from Philly.
Okay, so
yeah, but I don't sound like I am anymore.
No, you don't. You barely. I mean, I barely even could tell that you would beat someone up.
I know, but I would.
Yeah,
I would beat someone
if you're
up
from
if I had to.
Philly's a tough city.
I'll scrap.
Philly, ironically, the city of brotherly love. But it's a very fighting
everyone's
city.
Angry there.
Yeah, it's the only city they booed Santa Claus.
Oh, we're the worst.
They had a courthouse in the stadium. Where the Eagles played, they had a courthouse because so many people were getting arrested. They decided this will be faster.
Yeah. Because people are fucking crazy, about the fucking Eagles. They're insane. They can't chill the fuck out. I mean, I love you, Philly. I mean, I'm from Philly, so I love you. But it's so funny. I took my husband there for Christmas last year, and we're walking down the street, and it was just us walking down the street, and one person walking the other way, and it's in the morning, and he'd be like, good morning, and they just wouldn't say shit. Mm-hmm. And he's like, whoa, everyone's mean here. And I was like, it's not that they're mean, it's head down, keep to yourself.
In New York, I always say that we have shit to do.
Yeah,
we're not rude, we're busy.
Yeah.
And so whenever I go back to New York, and because I love living in LA.
Right.
But whenever I go back to New York, and the first time, it's going to sound so stupid, but the first time someone bumps into me without apologizing, I do get a sense of home.
Oh.
There's a moment where I'm just like...
that coldness?
Yeah.
Welcomes
that's us.
you like an old friend.
Absolutely.
That's hilarious. And I'm so sensitive. I'm always apologizing. I say sorry at least 10 times a day for things I don't need to be sorry for. And I get offended easily. Like you said, I was at Starbucks, Coffee Bean this morning. Don't want to mess that up.
Yeah.
And this lady,
because if you were at Starbucks, the coffee was probably more bitter than you were.
Yeah, so. Exactly. Well, I can't even drink coffee because I have anxiety. I just go for the chocolate like a 7-year-old. I'm like, just have some chocolate drinks, please.
Perfect.
But yeah, so I have my hands full. I'm holding the dog and I have the drink in my hand, and this lady's in front of me, and she opened the door, and I'm literally right behind her, and she just let it close on me. And I was just like, that is so fucking rude.
Yeah.
I just don't get people like that.
I believe that there's a certain quid pro quo when it comes to
what does that even mean, quid pro quo? I've heard it before.
Equal exchange.
Equal exchange?
Yeah, quid pro quo is basically this for that.
Okay, got
pretty
it.
much.
You seem really smart.
So I know 3 things, and we've already discovered 2 of them.
Thanks for being on my podcast. You're really smart.
We just happen to be. It's like Slumdog Millionaire. These are the things I happen to know.
You just touch on the shit that you know.
Exactly.
You use every opportunity to throw in the shit you know. Okay, go ahead. Yeah. Sorry.
So, if you hold the door for someone, you're not obligated to hold the door for someone.
No.
And if you hold the door for someone, they're not obligated to say thank you.
No, but it's nice.
But if you hold the door for someone and they don't say thank you, you have every right to stop holding the door for them. Because they have not given their portion of it. Exactly.
Drop
Boom.
it midway.
Absolutely. Boom. Be like, I gave you this opportunity. All you had to do was say something.
You slam it in their face.
Yeah, exactly. Hot coffee goes everywhere. Yeah, be like, well, we had a chance here.
You better be fucking nice. Oh my God, can you imagine? Yeah, that's true.
I imagine that very
funny?
often.
I've been reading quotes like that later, stop expecting things from people. Your true happiness will come when you stop expecting things from people. But I'm like, why can't you just be fucking nice? It's just it sucks. LA, everyone's out for themselves. I mean, this has been happening to me so much lately. I was in our parking lot to go to the post office, and it's a really small parking lot, and I was waiting for the car in front of me was backing out, and there was a huge line of cars behind me, but we were all waiting for spots. There was nowhere to park, so they had nowhere to go anyway, right? So I'm waiting for this car to back out, and the guy behind me, when the car backs out, swoops around me and parks in the spot. And I was like,
no.
I could not believe it.
Yeah.
Like, I actually was like, and I couldn't even stop and yell at him because there was nowhere else to park.
It's that Anchorman quote. I'm not even mad. That's amazing.
I was just like, it was unfucking believable.
Yeah.
Like, unashamed, just was like, I'm more important than you, went around my car and took the spot.
Yeah.
I had my blinker on and everything, and went from behind me. I mean, it's like...
I had a guy who...
the worst.
It was one of these things where, like... all of a sudden, there's no arrow on the road. The lane just kind of ends, and you got to merge over.
Yeah.
So I merge over. I even threw my blinker on. It was last second, but I threw my blinker on. I merged over.
Yeah.
Guy didn't have to hit his brake or anything, but in his mind, I have now taken what is rightfully his. And I get, you can get a little annoyed if you think someone cut you off. He's probably not paying enough attention to understand why I merged over.
Right.
So he just thinks I cut him off. In his reality, that's what I did. Okay, fine. You can get mad at someone who cut you off.
Right.
But he then proceeds to like try to drive up next to me. And I'm like, I'm not going to let this road rage thing happen. So every time he gets like right near me, I'll hit the brake. So he goes like past whatever. I'm trying to, avoid this, whatever. I take a turn. He takes the turn. I'm like, what is this? So finally, like he pulls up next to me and he just starts screaming because I'm like, I'll just get this over with. So I let him, pulls up next to me. He just starts screaming. And when he's done, I just go, have a wonderful day, sir. Like in the most earnest way possible.
Did you really?
Yeah, just to try to like make it seem like I'm just this like happy, slow guy who's just like...
That is so
just because
funny.
That's the only way to defeat that, because all he wants is for me to fight back.
Right, of course.
The only thing he wants is to fight with me. And so I'm just like, have a great day, sir. Like,
you know what? Honestly, that was the best choice you could have made.
Yeah, it was maybe survival instinct.
No, but it's so smart because if you think about it, like if someone comes at you with so much anger, and you just meet them with like mellow kindness, like they really don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Like people don't know what to do with it. Even like if at home, like if my husband's mad at me and he like gets so angry, I'm not a fighter, believe it or not, even though I'm from Philly. Like I don't like confrontation or fighting.
That's why they kick you out.
Exactly. That's why I live in LA now. So he will get mad at me for something, be like, rah, like all angry, and I'll just be like, okay, babe. Like, I love you. And like he'll just be like, like people don't know what to do with it. They
Absolutely.
they can't keep it up. Like there's this old adage. It's not really an adage. It's like a thing. It's called dropping the towel. Have you heard of that?
No.
So like, say
Is
you
this
and
in
I,
like a locker room?
Well, I mean, it's just in life. Like, say for instance, you and I were holding a towel, right?
Yeah.
And we're pulling back and forth, fighting, right? But if one of us lets go, then what? What do you have? You just shake it around, like you don't have anything. There's no tension.
Right.
So that's what they say. It's called dropping the towel.
Yeah, I always just viewed it as if someone comes at you, physically, if someone comes at you, the best thing to do is step aside and let their weight carry them forward, and they'll miss you.
Right.
And so I think that's true in confrontations as well.
Okay.
If you can let the person just run right by you.
Have their day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do that. I don't like yelling. It's like stressful for me. But yeah, so worst first, obviously.
Okay, yes.
We've already talked about a bunch of worst shit.
Yeah. Oh,
like,
but
but this podcast is just about everything
shit.
that's the fucking worst.
Okay.
So you have some bad shit.
Of
you came
course,
prepared.
everybody
Okay,
does.
I love it. Everyone has so much bad shit. Some people come on here and act like nothing bad's ever happened to them.
Those people are either lying or delusional.
They drive me crazy. They come, I don't really have any worse. Really, bitch?
It's like, I had 8 worse yesterday.
Right? Every day is
pay
the
attention.
fucking worst.
Yeah.
Like, god damn it.
Yeah,
Like, I never know if I'm gonna have a fucking anxiety attack or like wake up fine. Like, I don't know what the fuck's happening ever.
Yeah.
Like, it's stressful. Okay, so I'm gonna let you tell me.
Okay, a worst first. So I was trying to think of a good one and something that maybe people haven't done yet.
Yeah.
So I got divorced about 3.5 years ago.
You were married?
I was.
How old are you? Like 34?
I'm 40.
You're 40?
Yeah.
Oh wow, Ginger.
Thank you for the surprise.
What is
I
it
appreciate
called?
that.
Turmeric don't crack. Or...
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Ginger don't crack. Doesn't rhyme. We have to think of something.
Nothing
Yeah.
at all. Yeah. Maybe
But
something about sunburn and skin cancer. I don't know.
Linger.
So,
I don't know.
Yeah.
So
oh my
you
God, your
look
dog
40.
is so cute.
She's really sweet.
Thank you very
she'll
much.
Be your friend.
So
you got divorced 3 years
okay,
ago.
so I got divorced. I had not yet lived in a world with dating apps.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And so I think my worst first is the first time I understood. I know that there are depraved psychopathic men on dating apps.
Oh,
I didn't know
yeah.
there were also depraved psychopathic women.
Oh, so many.
Which-
I'm friends with a lot of them. My girlfriends, like every time they're like, I found a new guy, all I think in my head is like, poor victim.
Yeah,
Like
ugh.
some of them I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like I have some psycho friends.
That is
It's kind of scary. Anyway.
terrifying that you're like still willing to hang out with them when you
I
know
am.
that.
I love
yeah.
them because I'm psycho, but not in the dangerous way like they are.
Okay,
But
nice.
like, you know, you find your own.
Right, yeah. It's
Water seems its own level.
Exactly. So,
Okay, so yeah, psychos, yeah.
So I was in, I'm on the road. As a comic, it's difficult to date.
Right.
And so I'm on the road and I match with this really hot girl on Bumble in Bakersfield, California.
Hell yeah.
Which I'm like,
only hot girl in Bakersfield.
Exactly. I'm like, I found the one.
What's wrong with this
Yeah.
picture?
But we match at night and it's Bumble, so she has to message first and she doesn't. And I go to sleep. I don't think anything of it. The next morning, I wake up to a message from her, and I woke up at like 7:30
in the morning?
So yeah, and so
What
she
are
had
you,
she had
60?
messaged me. I got a old dog, so I got to wake up early. So, but also yes, I'm
I noticed like really old people get up so early.
absolutely. And at first I was worried that that's what it was, but then I don't bring my dog on the road, and when I don't bring him on the road, I can actually sleep in. And I'm like,
okay.
oh, this is because he moves a lot.
Okay,
This is
okay,
yeah.
got it.
So she's already messaged me at like probably 6:30 in the morning.
Wow.
Like the timestamp. And
She's
so
an early riser too.
exactly. So and it was just like a general greeting, just like a good morning kind of thing
Hey,
that
what's
she
up?
sent.
Just cleaning up the Wiccan burial I had set up from the night before. Hope you're having a chill morning.
Yeah, she's just
Cleaning
like,
the
hey,
goat's blood off the walls.
I'm just about to go to sleep. How are you? So
Hey, the meth's finally wearing off.
Yeah.
I'm just about to hit the sack. Saw your message.
yeah,
Sorry, guys.
I know that's nothing to apologize for, but you do apologize a lot.
Okay,
So
I do.
So she, so I send her a message back, and I figure I'm gonna go, try to quality banter here. So I say, you're up early, either, because she had kids in her profile. So I was like, either it's because of your kids, it's because of your job, or you have a superpower that, that where you don't need a lot of sleep. Fine, open.
Yeah.
So she writes back and she goes, oh, combination of the first two, but I wish it were that third one. Perfectly fine banter.
Yeah, normal.
I say everything's normal for a while.
Yeah.
So I say, oh, too bad. Guess you can't join me for breakfast. And she writes back and goes, oh, what's your number? And then I realized, oh, she probably thought I just invited her to breakfast. Like I wasn't inviting her. I was kidding around because she was busy, and that's what I was doing.
Right.
So I go, all right, a little early to give someone my number, but I guess, we're having a brief rapport, and it seems like I invited her. I can't really be like, no.
Yeah. You're like, oh, I forgot.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what's your number? 6?
I forget my number.
So exactly.
Where do I find it in my phone?
So I have the new phone. I don't know where it is. So I give her my number, and she calls me almost right away from a blocked number.
Calls. Ew.
Oh, ew does not begin to describe what's
your
about
mother?
to happen.
Hi,
So she-
Steve, it's your mother.
So-
Tricked you again.
How did you do such a good impression of my mother
I'm just kidding.
then? That was
I have some Jews in my family.
It's pretty on the spot. So she calls me, and meanwhile, like I'm sharing a suite with another comic. I don't want to wake him up.
Right.
So I go, hey, give me a couple of minutes. I'm leaving the room. So she calls me again, and it's from a blocked number, which I understand. There are definitely women who are like terrified of giving their number to someone because, you could search for stuff, you could find things, a lot of stuff's connected to it.
Yeah.
So I didn't even think anything of that. And then, so she calls me back again, like just a couple minutes later. I've barely put my shoes on at this point, and I'm just going to like the hotel breakfast.
Right.
And when she calls me the second time, here's where it gets weird. It sounds like she's crying. And I'm like, what the hell is this? Is she just like desperate for consolation or something? But as I'm talking to her a little bit, I discover very quickly she's not crying. She's masturbating. So that is the appropriate reaction. That is exactly the right face.
She's masturbating on the phone?
On the phone. So she's trying to get me to have phone sex with her, and I'm like, absolutely not. And she's like, why not? I was like, because I have a career to consider. I don't know you. You know, like, and she goes, oh, you don't think I care about my career? I'm like, no, frankly, I don't think you do. I was like, you're calling a stranger and masturbating on the phone with
Do you
them.
think she was going to record the conversation or something?
I don't know who the hell she is.
Right.
I don't know what this is.
You just literally got on
you
the
know?
phone with her and she's already masturbating.
Yeah, like I won't.
whoa.
I've never taken or sent a dick pic in my life. I've never.
Good.
There are just certain things.
Yeah, you're
that
like
I'm
all
just
this Louis
like,
C.K. stuff. I don't want to be,
I
don't
want
want to
no
get
part of
confused.
that.
He's a redhead. I'm a redhead. I don't want to be associated.
People have asked me about that and be like, "What do you think of him as a redhead?" I'm like, "That's not how this works. That's not how
you
we
into
don't
that
just."
too, buddy? Huh? Is that a redhead thing?
Yeah, exactly. There's
Pulling
just
your
a
wiener
council.
out with, unsolicited, huh?
There's a council of redheads.
Right.
It's just like Louis and Bill Burr and Santino and like we just all
you
decide
guys all
things.
decide like who does what.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Be like, Bill, you get the anger. So I'm telling her absolutely not. I do not want any part of this.
Also, it's really early.
I'm like, I'm not gonna have phone sex before 9.
Ew.
I mean, come on, let me at least get my coffee.
Jesus, and where's your kids?
It's probably in the room.
Ew.
No. So in the trailer.
Right.
So she keeps trying to get me to have phone sex with her. I'm like, absolutely not. Now you might think, why didn't you hang up? Well, I'm a comic. That's why I didn't hang up.
It's good for material.
I wanted to know where the fuck this was going.
Right.
And I wanted a story when my buddy woke up to be like, get a load of what the hell you just slept through.
Yeah.
So I go down to the breakfast and she keeps asking me questions and stuff. And, she's like, how big's your dick? I'm like, I'm not answering anything. I'm not doing anything with this. I'm not, etc. So then she's like, I guess she's reaching her end. And she goes, tell me to come. And I realize I can actually say that in front of all these people.
Yeah.
Without it seeming, if I say it in the most flippant way possible.
Right.
So
you should
in
come.
the middle, exactly. That's exactly what I did. In the middle of breakfast with these old couples in Bakersfield,
my God.
I just go, I thought about it, and I think you should come. And I guess she does or whatever, and she hangs up. So then
weird.
I send her a message on Bumble. I don't have her number. I send her a message that just says,
you're like alive?
I just go, here's to having the rest of your day go as well as your morning just did. Have a good one.
Yeah.
Figuring, all right, I'll just, cherry on top of this. And she writes back and goes, WTF. And I say, no, that's my line. That's what I'm supposed to say.
Yeah.
And then that was the end of it. I'll never know what the hell it was. You
never kept talking after that?
No. Oh, fuck no. No. Absolutely not. No, unmatched.
Because she was mad at you because you didn't help her come.
Absolutely. I did nothing to help her come. Unless having someone be completely disinterested and laughing at her helps her come, which is possible. People have all kinds of dysfunction.
God, that's so weird. What a weirdo, though.
So, yeah, that was definitely one that made me be like, okay, there are weird people.
Who fucking calls somebody...
It's got to be a power thing,
right? The first time they talk
right?
to them and like is masturbating.
Well, guys have done that for years.
Well, yeah.
So,
I mean, if she was a dude, I would be like, oh, I could see that. But like a girl's being like that, it doesn't really seem.
I'm
like
egalitarian. I think it's high time.
Right.
It's high time that women started flashing with trench coats.
She's just trying to take the power back.
Exactly.
Maybe she thought you were Louis C.K.
Yeah, it's very possible. And
She's like, oh, that's not Louis C.K. Never mind. Unmatched. Just kidding. With that said, guys, we are going to take a quick break, and we will be right back on Worst First with Steve Hofstetter. Stetter.
You got it.
Stetter.
Nailed it.
Got it. Okay, we'll be back. Okay, so this is a really fun idea, and I know the holidays are coming up, and this was actually kind of the best thing I've come across in a long time. It's this company called Manscaped, and they're the #1 company in men's below-the-belt grooming. Yeah, ladies and gents, I'm talking about your junk. Yeah, jingle balls, jingle balls, jingle balls all the way. It's time to buy some gifts for your man, the man in your life. Come on, we want to keep that stuff smelling nice. I can't tell you how hard it is for me. When your guy decides to not shower for 4 days and then wants to hang out and you're like, no, I'm good. But yeah, so this is kind of like helping that situation. So basically it comes with all this amazing stuff. They redesigned the electric trimmer. It's like a lawnmower 3.0. It has like skin safe technology so it won't nick or snag your man's nuts. It's waterproof, so it prevents the mess on the bathroom floor and the sink. Cut free, so your guy's not going to have a bunch of cuts down there. And speaking of smelling nice, you guys, we've all smelled stinky balls. So that's why they have a crop preserver and crop reviver. And these products, they keep the balls from sweating, smelling, and sticking. Wow, look at that. And think of it this way. You put deodorant on your armpits, so why wouldn't you put it on the smelliest part of your body? So all of the products smell really good. Obviously, that's a bonus for us, ladies and men, obviously, if you're dating a guy. Because no one wants to be down there when it's smelling like the freaking Chuck E. Cheese ball pit, okay? Like, that's not what we're going for here. So anyway, this is a great opportunity for you guys to get a great deal on a really fun product. And each package comes with a pair of Manscaped boxer briefs, so they'll keep his junk smelling fresh all day. And so, yeah, so if you want to get this for your dad, that's awkward. Your brother, that's even more awkward. Or your husband, or boyfriend, or, even guy that you've hung out with twice because maybe stuff wasn't smelling great, you're going to head over to manscaped.com. That's MANSCAPED, manscaped.com, and enter the promo code WORST, WORST, and you get 20% off plus free shipping and plus good smelling nuts. Come on, everybody wants their guy's junk to smell good. Come on. So manscaped.com, that's manscaped.com, and you enter the promo code WORST, WORST, and get those jingle balls smelling fresh. Enjoy. This is another one for the dudes. I feel like dudes are so hard to buy gifts for because you're like, what do I get them? I mean, guys are so... they're just hard. They're just hard to buy for. I mean, you're like, okay, so like they're not as into fashion and clothes as girls usually. I mean, sometimes they are, but it's kind of hard to be like, oh, I got you like some outfits. Like they're like, okay, whatever. I'd rather pick out my own. Or like, just like whatever. You don't know what guys want a lot of the time because, they're so hard to read, hence why we have so many problems in life. But anyway, getting too personal here. So Christmas shopping for your dad, your brother, your friends, guy friends, boyfriend, husband, whatever, can be a little difficult. But not this year. No. Not this year. It will not be difficult because you're going to head over to mancrates.com, okay? It makes shopping for guys easy and fun. It takes all the guesswork out of it because everything on this website is guy approved and guy love, okay? So it's Mancrates, MANCRATES.com. Okay, so what's really cool is that they have a bunch of different stuff. I actually ordered, my husband loves to cook, so they have a paella making kit, which comes with all the ingredients on how to make the paella. It comes with a paella pan. My husband also loves knives, not in a dangerous way, just in like a chef way. So there's actually a chef knife making kit, which I ordered him. A guy can make his own chef knife. How cool is that? I mean, talk about Bear Grylls over here. Your husband's trying to live in the moment watching TV, but now he can make his own knife. Like, that's great. I mean, unless he's a little violent, then maybe don't get him that gift. Maybe get him the paella dish. But yeah, the knife making kit is very cool. They carve their own knife. And then I also got my husband the grill master kit because he is a grill master. I mean, my husband loves to cook and he's a great cook, and that comes with all kinds of stuff like all these tools you need. Excuse me, I just burped right into the mic. It comes with all of these tools that you need. Hickory wood chips to make your beef smell great, all the seasonings and tools. It's just very, very manly. I grew some nuts just hanging out with that stuff. So if you're interested in just checking it out, you should try to head over to mancrates.com. They have everything. I mean, they have like a whiskey appreciation crate if the guy drinks. They have beer stuff. They have, sports stuff. Like there's everything for a guy there that they'll love and they'll be so into, and it gives them little projects and things like that. So don't miss the massive holiday savings at mancrates.com. If you buy one Man Crate, you get half off your second one. Again, let me say that again. Do not miss the holiday savings at mancrates.com because if you buy one Man Crate, you get half off your second. Okay, so why not just knock all your Christmas shopping out for the dudes on there and keep getting half off? You just visit mancrates.com. That's mancrates.com/firsts FIRSTS to get half off your second man crate. So mancrates.com, mancrates.com/firsts, FIRSTS to get half off and enjoy your holiday shopping. Everybody wants to be skilled. Not all of us have skills, though. I mean, some of us are, I'd like to think everyone's skilled at something. Individually, we're all secretly skilled. We have something that we're secretly skilled with or publicly skilled with. But sometimes you want to discover new skills and hone in on your skills and work on your skills. And so if you want to learn some new skills, say you're into photography, or I want to become a better drawer, or I want to become a painter, or I want to learn about film or this or that, head over to Skillshare.com. That's SKILLSHARE.com/worst. And you get 2 months free of learning any kind of skill you want. They have thousands of amazing classes on this website that covers everything from creative stuff to entrepreneurial stuff. So personally, I checked out this website and I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I mean, it's like it just explains to you everything that you need to know about anything. I was looking up all the different stuff on there. It's like creative writing and photography, just so many cool things. I always wanted to be better at photography, and just everything you would ever want to know about photography is on there, and you can learn. And it's just a great website for just becoming better at what you've always wanted to do. So do yourself a favor and go to Skillshare.com/worst and get 2 months free of becoming what you've always wanted to be. That rhymed unintentionally. And we're back. Isn't that crazy? I gave you no time.
That was great.
I know.
Yeah.
It's so funny because I always say this in the studio. It's always just like we jump right back into it. But you guys have just sat through a bunch of ads, which I hope weren't so painful. And I hope, some of the things that were advertised were interesting to you, because I try to only put stuff on here that is interesting. Just kidding. I'll put anything on here on anybody who pays me.
I turned down a vape one for mine.
Oh, really? I turned down a vibrator one.
I never got offered a vibrator one.
Yeah, this company, I'm not even going to say the name because I'd be giving a free plug.
Yeah.
But a vibrator company contacted me and they were like, we love you. And you know what's crazy? They wrote me like 5 emails. And I was like, I kept deleting the emails.
They were all shaking.
And they just kept coming. Yeah. They just kept coming.
Yeah, nice.
The emails.
That should be their slogan.
Yeah. So we just will keep coming. No, it was kind of crazy. They just kept writing to me and they were like, we love you, and like using my name and like referencing my videos in the middle of the email, so I would know it wasn't like a chain email, or like sent to a bunch of people, or template emails. So yeah, they sent me a bunch, and then finally I responded and was like, listen, I don't want to advertise your vibrator. They're like, here's a bunch of people that we've worked with. Every single one was a porn star. I'm like, listen, I've never done porn. Like, yeah, I got big boobs and like they're real and there's a lot of pictures of them online, but not nude. By the way, there is no real nude photo of me online, no matter what you have seen. Yes.
That's
everyone.
crap.
If you Google Brittany Furlan naked, not one of those photos is real. Like, this guy did a really botched Photoshop job of me standing in the mirror and made my nipples all sideways and crooked. And I was like, that's not fucking me, dude.
So your fake nudes look like Tara Reid's real ones?
Yes, it's fucking terrible. No, they're bad. They look but it's like, if you really look at them, you can tell it's Photoshop because it's all blurry and weird and smudged and shit.
We got to go to break. No.
He's like, Steve needs a break.
No, the worst solicitations though is on Instagram. You get all of these solicitations of like, we can help you grow your Instagram, and it's from profiles that have like 6 followers.
I know, what is that?
It's an oncologist who smokes. Like it
doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, who is dumb enough to actually do that?
I can get you millions of followers, and you go check them out, and it's literally they have 2.
Yeah.
It's really weird. I don't believe in any of that buying followership. Plus, plus Instagram deletes everybody's shit.
Well, they don't want to, they don't want to use their powers for themselves. They only want to use their powers to benefit other people.
I don't really get that. Yeah, but isn't it kind of funny? Like, people are just so fucking weird online. Like, I mean, any picture of me in a bikini, they'll just like delete the bikini and then put fake tits on it.
Oh
and I'm like, this looks terrible. Like, is anyone believing this?
I'm so glad that I don't have to go through stuff like that.
It's horrible. And then there's like one video that I saw that was on like YouPorn or whatever, one of those dumb
Yeah.
sites, and it was a girl who
Dumb sites. How dare you?
I mean,
yeah.
you know, whatever. If it's been useful, but
Yeah.
like there was a girl who kind of looks like me. Like I actually even for a minute was like, whoa, that kind of looks like me, fucking this guy, and I was like, but it wasn't me. But it's titled Brittany Furlan having sex, and I'm like, I'm not this
'cause they
person. It sucks because it looks like me.
Here's the difference between
That
you and I, Brittany.
sucks.
You have people who are like, your body doubles apparently are doing porn.
Yes.
And the only guy that I've ever had that I'm like, that guy really looks like me, like I thought it was me for a second, was
like
a guy on Jeopardy.
I thought you were going to be
legit.
like one of those wanted signs at a truck
There was-
stop.
No, not even cool enough for that.
There's a guy on Jeopardy. Well, at least he was,
There was a dude.
smart.
There was a dude
right?
on Jeopardy who like, because all the time
Was he doing well?
Anytime there's a, I think so, but anytime there's a redhead, anything, people all the time send me pictures of like, oh, hey, looks like your body double's driving a bus in Glasgow. And it's just like
A redhead that looks nothing like you. It's just a
me.
redhead.
Sometimes it's just a guy with glasses. And like, I used to reply and
It's
be
just like a
"Haha."
banana with glasses. You're like, that's
Yeah.
a fucking banana
Yeah,
with
be like,
glasses.
how dare, all right, it looks a little bit like me, but I wear different glasses. So the like recently someone sent me one and I didn't reply.
Oh no.
And then, because it's like, what
Was
am I
it
going to
hurtful?
reply to everything? And then they like wrote this whole thing about like, hey, I was just kidding. I just thought you'd find it funny, man.
What was it?
And it was just a guy that didn't look like me. And I was like, what am I going to...
You're like, I'm not. It's not funny.
Yeah, what am I going to reply to this? Like, oh, thank you, generic joke that I've seen 1,000 times.
Oh,
But when I get sent the Jeopardy guy,
yeah,
holy
he
shit.
really looked like you.
Like when I
like
when
you
I,
thought it was your brother.
when I got I there was one
You're
picture.
like, did I go on Jeopardy?
There was one picture where I was like, did I own that sweater? Like, did I actually own, because it looked like me like 10 years younger.
Yeah.
But the internet's amazing because I posted the picture and I go, I want to find out who this guy is. And within like an hour, I knew his name, his job, and where he lived. And so I reached out to him on LinkedIn.
Oh my god!
Someone sent me his
Why
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn?
Because someone sent that to me. That's how I found out.
He doesn't have an Instagram,
'Cause
just a
someone-
LinkedIn.
Yeah, well, because they found out his name and where he was from on the Jeopardy intro, and then they like narrowed it down and they go, oh yeah, he's an engineer in this place, so this is him.
Oh my god.
So I messaged him, and apparently he's gotten told that he looks like me before. But like I reached out, and it turned out I was doing a show. He lived right outside of San Francisco. I was doing a San Francisco show like a week later, and I was like, come to the show. I'll get you tickets. We just have to take a picture at the show.
Yeah.
So we absolutely did. But in person,
You didn't look like him.
It just made me feel old.
Oh,
it just
young
made
you.
me feel, it was just like, because when I look at the picture, I go, look, that guy's like a younger me. And then when we take a picture together, I'm like, I'm just an old version of him. And so it wasn't as fun.
How old was he? You don't look old at all, so he must look really young.
Well, he's
like 17.
He's like, I think late 20s.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I got 10 years on him.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You don't look
So I
old at all,
appreciate
though.
that.
I would tell
Thank you.
I'm really honest. I'd be like,
I
yeah, you
bet
look
you
kind of
would.
old. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you would.
There's
like
things you can do for that.
I probably would have walked in here and you'd have just been like, eh. Like just immediately.
I just throw up.
Yeah. Be like, well, can we have a different guest?
Get this guy some Botox. Come on. I told you no wrinkles on this podcast. No, I'm just kidding. Have you ever done that Botox?
I've never done
Would you ever?
done any sort of artificial enhancements whatsoever.
You don't say.
I've never. Yeah, I know. If I did, although the standard joke I would do whenever I would get like made up for TV, I would say to the makeup artist, I would try to, you try to break the ice a little bit. You're sitting in that chair for an hour.
Right.
And so
an hour?
I would just say, well, usually you're sitting waiting. As a guy.
She just keeps putting layers of fucking foundation.
It depends on who it is. Usually I'm in and out in 5 minutes, but like every now and then I've been like a half hour. I'm like, what are you trying to do?
Yeah.
And so what I would do is I would just be like, hey, can you make me look tan? It's a stupid dad joke, but like
They actually try.
it's fun to see because usually someone's like, I can't do that.
Right.
Sometimes it's just someone's like really trying, and then sometimes it's abject fear. Like sometimes the reaction is like, but I can't. I'm like, I know, I can't be tan. I'm never gonna be tan.
Gosh.
I'm never gonna spray tan. I'm never gonna don't worry about
You've
it.
never gotten a tan.
I've never. This is me tan.
You just get red.
Pretty much, yeah.
If you go in the sun.
Yeah, my arms darken a little bit because they've been out there enough.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I just get more freckles. Eventually, it'll just be one.
Giant.
Yeah, that's the
tan
only
freckle.
way. I'm so pale that the way I can look more tan, I'm like see-through. I can just stand in front of a black guy, and then I'll look a little.
Because you can see through his contrast through you.
Yeah.
Wow, that is so crazy.
I'm a very pale person, yeah.
Wow, I didn't even think about that, like that you just can't ever get a tan.
Yeah, I can't tan. There are just certain things I can't do in life.
You'll just
as
get
a redhead.
more freckles?
Yeah, I pretty much just freckle up. My shoulders are
Do you
super
have
freckled.
to like get checked for skin cancer a lot?
I guess I should be.
Is your parents, are your parents redheads?
No, neither one. They're both
Neither
carriers.
one.
Yeah.
So they just have the gene.
Hopefully.
But
Otherwise,
the
I
grandparents,
belong to
somebody
someone
has
else.
to be a redhead.
I definitely have a decent number of cousins and aunts and stuff.
So it just runs in the family.
Yeah, like I have an aunt who has 3 sons. They're all redheaded.
Oh, wow.
And so, yeah, and because she married a redhead, and I guess she's, you're 50-50 when you're a carrier.
Right.
So, and I'm one of 4 kids. 3 are biological.
Right.
So, the chance, it should be a 1 in 4 chance, and it was really a 1 in 3.
Did your other brothers and sisters, or are they just regular?
No, so I have another one of my sisters is redheaded.
Oh.
So it's 2 out of 3 are redheads, which is definitely defies the odds.
Right.
Yeah, because it should be, I guess 50-50 on each.
You guys are
It
starting to
resets,
take over
but
the world.
We are slowly but surely.
Trump's all worried about Mexicans. He should be worried about you guys.
Exactly. It's like some of our best.
Slowly creeping up. I'm just kidding.
They're sending a lot of bad people.
Oh,
a lot of bad, pale people. Very sensitive to pain.
Oh my God.
By the
are
way,
you guys sensitive to pain? Is
we
that
are,
a fact?
It's weird. We're both sensitive to pain, and painkillers and like numbing stuff doesn't work on us as well. And so, like when I go to the dentist, I have to wait an extra. Like if they ever have to numb part of my mouth,
right?
I've learned, give it another 10 minutes. And give me an extra shot of it because it just takes more.
Do you think you can take more drugs than the regular person?
I haven't tried, but maybe.
You've never tried any drugs?
I've never done any drugs.
None?
I used to drink, but I've never
Not
done
even
any drugs.
Coke?
Not even Coke. That's the low hanging fruit. Usually
LA
pot is the usually pot is the.
I assume like everyone in LA over 18 has tried Coke, which is a horrible assumption.
I think a lot of people have for sure.
Yeah.
It's always fun whenever like when I'm on the road, if like because I'll make fun of meth sometimes.
Yeah.
And like people will say to me, they're like, "Oh, like there's no meth problem where you're from." I'm like, "I'm from New York and I live in LA. We deal cocaine like adults."
Yeah.
Like we do not have. There aren't really meth problems in New York and LA.
Right.
Crack, sure.
Yeah.
But that's we've already been through it.
Meth is gnarly.
Yeah, I don't understand how anyone. Okay, there are brilliant songs that have been written on pot,
right,
and LSD and all kinds of stuff. There's businesses that have been launched on cocaine.
Right.
No one's ever.
The song for meth is like that song that was like remember that song?
Yes.
I don't even know what it's called. This is ridiculous.
I don't think there's ever been anything, and I'm curious if a listener or viewer can challenge this.
Yeah, any cool artists who have done meth?
Well, and
leave it in the comments.
I know that like Fergie was on meth, but I mean like
she was.
anything.
I heard
but meth,
too.
but meth derailed her career.
It did, yeah. And then she got clean and came back.
Right? Did anyone?
Got rid of the eyebrow
piercing on meth? Yeah. Has anyone on meth produced? Has meth ever led to something good?
Probably just more meth.
Is there one example of meth?
I figured out how to make more.
Exactly.
Oh
like now
God.
I have all the meth.
Yeah, I'm scared of drugs now. Like it's weird. I after like my mid-20s, I was just like, I just want to live. Like it got weird. I was like,
so you were like really into drugs, and then you were like, no.
I mean, I was never like really into drugs because I've always been kind of a psycho. Like I was gonna say crazy, but like I've just always been kind of mentally unstable. So like I've already been like living on the edge.
So life
like,
was your drug.
I didn't really need anything to make me feel more deranged in my brain. Like most people would wake up feeling on drugs how I just feel every day. My brain's just kind of wonky, but I and I noticed when I did do drugs,
you were just naturally on Molly.
I just naturally have this weird thing where like I either have like a fuck ton of energy or like none at all.
Yeah.
Where I'll be like, I can have like natural like crack energy where you would think I was on crack, where people like have even left in the comments on here like, whoa, slow down on the coke. But I'm not even on coke. I'm not even on any drugs. No, I never was like on coke.
Did you do enough that it might still be there?
No. Okay. I did Adderall when I was in college because I had like a focusing problem, obviously a focusing problem. But like that was the closest to that. And then I did coke a little bit in college, but I didn't like love it. You know what I mean? And the weird thing is like I'm already so hyper. So like on coke, like I was like me, but like even a little bit more hyper. So it was like an animaniac. It was like unreal. Like no one could hang out with me. It was just like the Tasmanian devil spinning through the room.
This is you. So this is you in your 30s, right? Mm-hmm. So this is you in your 30s, not on coke.
Yeah.
And you're still this hyper. You in your early 20s on coke?
It was a nightmare. It was insane. I would just spin around the room like you couldn't even see me. I was like the Flash. Like
that's why you have to wear bright colors.
Yes, exactly. So you can keep track of me. But no, it's like so weird because I'm like so scared of like every drug because I already feel so weird in my brain all the time that I'm like I don't ever want to feel even more weird.
I grew up terrified of drugs.
Really? Why? Did your parents freak you out about it?
And so did all the school programs.
Oh, DARE? Really? That didn't work for me.
I remember when I was a kid, we found a bunch of drugs.
Where?
So
you're like in my dad's sock drawer.
Yeah, exactly. Right next to the revolver. And
he's like,
so
one more redheaded kid, and I'm fucking ending this whole family.
Exactly. So it was, we were in the schoolyard, grew up in Briarwood, Queens. Right. When I say Briarwood now, people go, oh, that's nice. It'd be like, not in the 80s.
It was bad.
Not in the 80s.
Gentrified.
Absolutely not. Yeah. But so we were in the schoolyard. We used to play stickball all the time.
Yeah.
And there was one day where like we find this, like there's like this briefcase, and we're like, oh man, it's gonna have a bunch of money. Like you always you see movies and stuff.
Yeah.
And we open it up, and it's just drugs.
Like what kind of drugs?
Or shit that looked like drugs.
Like powder, white powdered in packages.
It's just a whole bunch of sugar. I'm sure.
In the schoolyard?
I don't know what the fuck it actually was.
Was it just like leaning against a wall? Where was it?
It was like in the corner of the. I don't know if it was like someone dropped it off for someone else or whatever it was.
Yeah. He's like, drop it off. None of these kids will get into this briefcase.
Exactly. But we like found it and we were playing stickball.
But
so we had like a bat.
Friends
and we like
wanted to play businessman.
Absolutely. We wanted it. We're like, oh, maybe that'll be the briefcase I can take to my first interview.
Who wants to be the businessman?
So you always get to be the businessman. I want to be the businessman. Shut up, Steve. You're the secretary.
I want to be company man.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
So,
Dad.
You really know my childhood. So we found it and we just ran.
With it?
Away from it. We were terrified.
You left it open?
We're just like, whoever wants this is gonna murder us. And so we just ran because we were very scared. We were like 10 or 11 years old. We were very scared. Yeah, it was.
That's insane.
Yeah, it was just a bag full of drugs. Just I don't know if it was like a drug deal gone wrong.
You guys didn't tell your teacher?
Or if it was no, this was like a weekend. We would like just go to the schoolyard.
You would go to your schoolyard on the weekends to hang out?
It's where you could play baseball.
Oh my God, I'm dead. If I went anywhere near my school on my day off, I'd be like, get the fuck. Like if I even
No, we would go to a schoolyard because like it's not like we had like parks to go to.
Right.
This was like Central
Queens. This was the only place to go to hang out.
Yeah, this was Central Queens. There were the actual baseball fields in the parks that were a long walk away were used by like Little League. And so like if you wanted to hang out with your friends and play stickball, you'd go to the schoolyard.
That's insane.
That's what we would do. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that part is not the lame part of the story. The running away from drugs, screaming, that's the lame part of the story.
So then you've just always been scared of drugs?
Always been. I mean, I was scared before that, which is why I ran away from it.
So you drink though?
But I did drink. I started drinking.
You don't drink anymore?
I don't drink anymore. I've been sober 15 years.
Good. And then you do smoke weed or no?
No. So I don't do anything.
You're totally sober.
I only got into coffee 2 years ago.
I hate coffee.
Like
coffee just makes you a
now.
fucking nightmare.
I love it. Well, that's because you start caffeinated.
I'm already psycho.
Yeah.
I don't need anything to just level me up. It's like no.
You need if there's something that could like take away a caffeinating agent, like that would help. But no, I drank a cup of coffee for the first time 2 years ago, and
the first time
for the first time,
years
I never
ago?
tried it.
And you're 40?
Yeah. I never tried it, and I was going to, my buddy and I went to spring training. We're big baseball fans. And so I went to spring training, and I took a red eye, and then I had to go to a day game, and I was really tired. He's a big coffee guy, so he was like, I'm going to stop and get a cup of coffee, and I was like, I guess I'll try one.
Try it for the first time.
And
Did he know you were trying it for the first time?
Yes, he was encouraging it. And so I tried it. She's so cute, by the way.
She's so cute.
And so I tried it, and it was just instantly, I was like, I'm up.
You love it.
And right away, I was
just
just
took a
like,
big shit, and then you ran about your day.
I just absolutely right there on the field. And so I just
coffee makes you shit.
But I had it, and I was like, oh, the rest of the world's been cheating this whole time.
Yeah, it's like the blue pill from the Matrix.
This is how I can stay awake. This is amazing. And within 3 weeks from the first time I ever tried a cup, I had to carry it home. And that's why I don't do cocaine.
You're lucky you love it. Because for me, it just makes my heart pound out of my chest. I sweat. I can't handle it.
I don't have
chest
more than a
pains.
cup a day.
Yeah,
That's the important thing.
Shake.
And every now and then there might be like a very specific reason where where I'll need to stay up for something.
Right.
But for the most part, I always get a small one. I don't understand the people who get like that giant fucking cup of coffee and like 3 times a day.
That just gives me anxiety thinking about it. Like the people who are like, I'll have 17 espresso shots, please.
Yeah, and I'm just like,
It's
how
like-
does this have any effect on you anymore? Like, this is not.
I mean, it is. If you think about it, caffeine is a drug, they say.
It is, for
And
sure.
people get addicted to it. And people getting in line for their Starbucks every day, they're addicted to it. They need the energy.
Yeah.
And then just like drugs, if you do it for long enough, your effect wears
I
off.
absolutely crave it.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah.
I crave the ritual of it.
Yeah.
Like, when people get like the iced coffee, I'm like, no, I want the little sip. Like, that's
Right.
part of it to me. I want the
Right.
little sip. I want the to-go cup. I can't stand when you go to one of those places and they give you like a fucking flat bowl. Almost like the mug is just so wide.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the places that are trying to be like more hipstery or whatever,
Right,
they give you
right.
that wide. And I'm like, how the fuck am I supposed to drink it? You want to give me a spoon for this coffee also? Like, how am I supposed to drink this?
Here's your bowl of coffee, sir.
It's ridiculous.
Go
And
lap
so-
it up in the corner like a cat.
Yeah,
Okay,
just edit,
that's
edit,
what we
edit,
want
edit,
you to
edit.
do.
And so, like, I'll even in those places, I'll always get it to go.
Yeah.
Even if I'm going to sit there and drink it, so they give me that fucking the
To-go
cup with the lid.
You're like, I want the
so I can
sippy
actually
cup. I
drink.
want the sippy cup.
But also, being on the road as much as I am, like having that, stopping and getting that cup and sipping a little bit while I'm driving, like it's a nice ritual. I like it.
It is. I love that. I mean, a lot of people agree with you. I don't
Yeah.
like coffee, so
I
I
just-
don't agree with you, but I get it.
But that's
More than
also
anyone.
why I don't want to do cocaine, because what is the best case scenario? I don't like it.
It's going to
best case
amp you
scenario-
up, and you're not going to be able to come down until it wears off.
Yeah.
That's
I
what
don't,
sucks.
I don't want that. I don't want that at all.
Yeah, you don't want to do that then.
Yeah, I don't- the
'cause
same-
It does make you very amped up.
And you're gonna start relying on that shit. The same way that like a friend of mine was like, "Hey, you're divorced.
Yeah.
You're in your this was 2 years ago. So it's like, you're divorced. You're in your late 30s.
yeah.
Go get Viagra." And I'm like, "I'm fine, thanks." And he's like, "No, you don't
Why
understand.
would you need that?
Whether or not you need it, it's
Right.
fun."
Oh,
He's
weird.
like, "Because you can just have sex for like 4 hours." And I'm like, "First of all, I got
He's
shit
like,
to
dude,
do."
you can have a boner for 7 weeks. It's
Yeah.
fucking great.
Yeah, and I'm like,
He's
I
just
got,
a boner while he's talking to
I
you.
got emails
He's
to
like,
answer.
I use my
you know?
boner to
He's
dial
like,
your phone.
Hold on, let me get my hat. And just like and he was saying like, "Oh, because it's fun and you get to do like wild, crazy things with it." And I'm like, "But then you need it,
Yeah.
Then
you can't live without it.
yeah, absolutely.
It's for old
Like, you
guys. Don't
can't-
even do that.
Yeah, I think that is for people who can't.
Leave it for old men who because as you get really old, your testosterone will drop, and you won't even be interested in fucking sex after 50.
I cannot wait. I really want to get to that
I
point.
mean, my
in
husband
life.
and I, everyone's like thinks my husband's like the most like sexual crazy guy because they've like seen MTV Cribs when he had a sex swing in his house, but like he's gonna be 57 this week.
Yeah,
And like we like cuddle and watch Netflix like 90% of the time.
that's how to
Like
do it.
it's not like a fucking, it's not like we're fucking pounding meat. Like
Yeah.
we're literally like, that's just what happens, and that's like normal for guys when you get older.
Yeah, I really look forward to that. I feel like I'll get a lot of my time back.
You're more chill too.
Yeah.
Like I just feel like guys are so driven by their hormones and sex when they're younger, and it's like it kind of blurs the lines a little bit because you're like, oh, I just want to fuck. Like, fuck, this girl's hot. Like, fuck, I'll fuck her. And then you end up in like gnarly situations with
Yeah.
like psycho girls. But yeah, like I feel like once that is taken out of the equation a little bit, I think guys, I mean, not all guys mellow out, but some of them do.
Yeah, there's that phrase, "Never stick your dick in crazy."
Yes.
And like there's a reason for that.
Yes.
Because we all have to be told that.
Yes.
Because otherwise we're like, well, why not?
Because sometimes crazy's really good looking.
And
then
sometimes
you're
crazy will
like,
cut it off.
Yeah, fucking, you won't get that
Like,
dick back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's
it's
the
a
last place you'll
one-way
ever put it.
transaction.
Yeah.
Do you have any more worse first before? And I want to talk about your podcast too before we leave. But do
Absolutely.
you have any more that you want to share?
I have a worse first story about sticking my dick in crazy, actually.
Oh no! I thought
Yes.
the masturbating chick was insane enough.
Well, but
Okay.
I never met up with her.
Right, yeah. So I want to hear
this
it.
this is actually where I learned to be like discerning.
Okay.
And so this was, God, this had to be about a decade ago. So it was before I got married. And I met this girl at a show, which first of all,
Don't meet
be careful
fans.
doing that.
Don't meet fans. I always tell comics that, like girls that come up to comics at shows. I'm just making sure because okay, great.
Yeah.
Girls who meet comics at shows are they're like scary.
Yeah.
Like they've followed you to get there, or they think you're really funny, and like they just want to be like, Clah! Like it's kind of.
It is definitely. I would say the odds, like the percentages on that, are probably like 80-20 against
just
you.
Really cute. Sorry, I'm gonna take a picture really quick.
No,
but anyway,
absolutely.
Keep talking. Go.
So
you met a girl at a show. She came up to
I met
you.
a girl at a show. Well, she was part of like the people who were organizing the show, but she was kind of like peripherally related.
Right.
So here, should we pose?
We got it.
Okay, we got it.
So cute.
Cool.
It's great.
So she was like peripherally related to the show, but we kept in touch, and started messaging on Facebook. This was a while ago, and people actually cared about Facebook.
Facebook, yeah.
And so we're messaging on Facebook, got a little flirty, and I was living in New York at the time, and she was like, "Oh, I'm going to be there this summer. Why don't we get dinner?" I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely."
She's, by the way, booking her plane ticket as you live in New York? Oh, wow, what a coincidence. Where did you say you lived? I'm going to be there.
Yeah, this is where I happen to be there on June 7th. Be like, I'm out of town June 7th. 17th.
I meant to say,
17th.
when do you get back? I get back the 12th. Oh, that's when I'm going to be there.
Yeah, what my flight gets in. And so so we're like we're going to go have dinner. She's I lived right by Penn Station at the time, and like one of those weird new high-rises back then. And so she said, because she's like, "Oh, where do you want to go?" And I was like, "Well, you're taking the train into Penn. Just come to my building. I'll come down.
Right.
And we'll find we'll walk. We'll find a place. Summer night in New York." So she just all of a sudden I get a knock on my apartment door, and I don't think I'm just distracted by the fact that like, oh, girl I'm interested in is here.
Right.
I'm not thinking I have a doorman. Like I'm not thinking any of that, And so
she should have had to call to get up.
She should have had a call to get up, but I don't know if she talked her way in or whatever it was. Just walked in real confidently. Whatever it was, she's on my door. But I'm not thinking through any of that. That is hindsight.
Oh my God.
And so she, so I'm like, okay, let's head out. And she says, because I had posted a picture, like the view was crazy good. And so I posted a picture of that. And so she's like, oh, let me see the view. I'm like, yeah, sure. And I'm thinking like, okay, good. This is nice and romantic and blah, blah, blah. And so then we're like standing there talking, looking at the view. And then she like goes to kiss me. I'm like, all right, cool. We've been talking for a while, absolutely.
Yeah.
One thing leads to another.
This is all in your apartment?
All in my apartment.
Okay.
One thing leads to another. We end up having sex. And afterward, and by the way, this is before I have any sort of reach in my career.
Right.
This is like, I think I literally done like a late night spot. Like that was it. This was not a fan trying to get stardom thing.
Right.
So afterward, she goes, oh, can I get a pair of boxers? And I was like, oh, are you cold? And, somewhere in New York, like, how's she cold?
Right.
So she's like, no. And I was like, oh, you uncomfortable? Which I totally get. I do not like sleeping naked. I'm a t-shirt and boxers guy for sure.
Right.
And she goes, no, and like laughs. And I go, you want them just to like have them? Like just to
take?
And she goes, yeah. And I go, like a fucking trophy? And she was like, yeah, and like laughed. And I go, I think you got to get dressed and get out of here.
Did you really say that?
Yeah.
She just wanted a pair of your boxers to have?
And I was like, no, absolutely not. So she's like trying to laugh it off. She's like, why not? And I go, the guys who like collect women's panties?
Yeah.
That's you.
Ew.
You're that.
Ew.
You are that. And she like refused to believe it, whatever. But okay, fine. So done. It's done. She leaves. We don't go get dinner. It's awkward and weird. So she keeps trying to like stay in touch and message me. And I'm like, I don't ghost people. I think ghosting is really disrespectful.
Yeah.
And it's also cowardly.
Yeah, you're like, politely, I'm going to tell you why this isn't going to work.
Exactly. And just, hey, sorry, not
I think
interested.
later down the line, you're going to want to make a skin suit out of me, so.
Exactly. I'm just going to try to, and I really do think ghosting it's disrespectful.
It is.
It's
It's
cowardly.
immature.
It's immature and amateur.
Sure. Yeah.
And so but even after I tell her I'm not interested, she still keeps messaging me of like, oh, just want to stay in touch as friends. And I'm like, I don't need a weird friend.
Yeah.
And so she keeps, she continues to message me. And she eventually, and I'm always like, hey, what are you up to? Busy. You know?
You're like short answers.
Exactly.
Like, couldn't be more.
What are you doing? Work.
Couldn't be more obvious that you didn't want a relationship.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So then, and I've heard of people faking pregnancies to get attention before. So I get a message from her, and she goes, hey, I'm seeing someone new. And I go, great, me too. And she goes, but we need to talk. And I'm like, if this idiot is pregnant,
And
this
this
is
is after
ruin my
one
life.
time of hanging out?
Yes.
And did you use a condom when you fucked her?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Every time.
Okay.
And so I don't mean every time with her. I mean every
Right,
time,
right,
every
every time
time.
you've-
Like
yeah.
I don't need to catch or create something.
Right.
And so so I'm like, if this idiot is pregnant, my life is done.
There's no way.
Like,
Unless she was the kind of psycho that would poke a hole in a condom.
There is a way. They're
Right.
not infallible.
Right.
You know,
but it's very low chance.
It's incredibly
unless
low
she
chance.
poked
But
a
at the
hole in a
same
condom.
time, she's the type of person that
Who
could
would
have.
do that?
Maybe she poked a hole. Maybe she like grabbed it from me. Like I
Took
don't know
it in
what
the
the fuck she
bathroom,
did.
fucking squirted it up
Exactly.
her pussy.
Yeah, exactly. Just fucking just
Turkey
rub a little
basted
bit.
it up there. Hey,
Yeah,
you have
hell
a
yeah.
turkey baster?
Yeah, can I just
Do you mind if I just borrow it really quick?
just a quick turkey basting? Just a thing I do after sex. I just like to baste.
Gosh.
So I'm like terrified.
Right.
And she's gotten my attention now as she wanted to. And then she tells me, she goes, well, I just went in to get an STD test. And I'm like, oh, I've been tested since we've been together. So I'm a
You're
pretty
like, I don't have
conscientious
anything.
guy. I'm like, I'm good. So whatever you may or may not have,
not from
good
me.
luck to you.
Yeah.
But you don't need to go through the embarrassing of like, that's what I may have done with me.
Yeah.
So she continues to tell me this story, though, where she tells me that, like, she goes, yeah, so my new boyfriend and I, she drops the word boyfriend a couple of times, of course. And then she goes, I'm going to be like, well, now I'm interested.
Right.
What?
Right.
And so she says that they went in to get tested, and the doctor thinks she may have something. And I'm like, may have something? It's not how those tests work.
No.
Those tests are precise.
Either yes or no.
Exactly.
It doesn't come up maybe.
Right. There's no
you don't
like.
get an AIDS test and they say, it might.
Yeah, maybe for what? We don't know. If you don't know, I'm not going to tell you.
What a psycho.
So then she gets even more psycho. She goes, well, they told us right away that it wasn't AIDS. And I go, oh, you've never been tested.
Yeah.
And she was like, how could you say? I go, if you've ever been tested, you would know that that's not how those tests work.
Right.
First of all, they don't know AIDS right away.
Right.
They don't look at you and be like, well, you're AIDS free.
I mean, they can do a rapid AIDS test, but that's just for AIDS.
And that's also not in 5 minutes in a waiting room.
Right. 15 though.
That's
yeah.
Yeah, but that's not.
But
well,
like, yeah.
You sound like you've been through some
I've
shit.
tested for
But-
everything. I'm careful as shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I test for everything too,
Yeah.
but I've never tested to the point where I'm like, I need to know now.
Yeah.
I've never been that scared.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, you haven't been tested. I was like, first of all, you should go get tested.
Right.
But also like I don't have anything, I'm fine. And like, I just didn't talk to her again. And because then when she messaged me again, I was like, I don't have any interest in talking to you.
Right.
Have a good one.
Yeah.
Like I had to not just I don't have any interest in dating you. I'm like, please don't message me anymore.
Right. Like she tried to reel you in on some bullshit.
Yeah, but just the idea of like, what was the next step of the plan? If I were to be like, oh no, maybe I have something on
she was
specific
just
also.
trying to like get you to hang out and talk.
Get
like
any
any
feedback at
kind
all.
of just connection to you. Like that's
Yeah.
so sad. And so then then you just blew her off.
And then
right?
absolutely.
You were done.
Yeah, and then I ended up marrying the girl I was seeing at the time. So I mean, we're divorced now.
How long
but,
were you married for?
5.5 years.
Do you have kids?
No,
No kids.
no kids.
Did you want kids?
I didn't at first.
Okay.
And then when my dad passed, I started thinking like,
Sorry.
thank you. I started thinking like, I want to be for someone what he was for me.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to have kids in like a selfish situation. There's so many people who just want a second version of their life.
Or someone to take care of them when they're old.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And but I used to do a joke about that, about the idea of like, raising a kid costs $250,000.
Yeah.
So instead of having 2 kids, I'm going to have $500,000.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to use that money to hire your kids to take care of me.
Yeah.
Because you don't plan.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. That's how it works.
That's a good way to think about it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. I don't need to.
So if you don't mind me asking,
Yeah.
why did you guys get divorced? I know that's kind of a personal question, so you can say, I don't want to answer that, Brittany, and respect my boundaries.
I will answer it, and because I just want to be respectful of her.
Of
like,
course.
she's not in the business.
Right.
So, we just realized that we would be better off separate. We had a perfectly amicable divorce. We didn't even have a lawyer.
Wow.
We got divorced on LegalZoom. It was funny. We met.
Shout out to Legal.
So we met. I'll take them
that
as a
shit
sponsor.
Works, yeah.
So we met on JDate, and
Oh
we
my
were on their billboard in Times Square.
J-Date. You were on the billboard?
We were on the JDate billboard.
They were so proud to have you guys.
They were very proud. I think they were partly proud because I don't look stereotypically Jewish.
Right.
And they were like, look, diversity, kind of. And so they're like,
redhead's the most diversity a Jewish
Exactly.
community can get.
Oh my God, a tall redhead? They were like, look at it, it's completely different.
Right.
And so, yeah, we were on a billboard. And so my friends joked around that like now we should be on the billboards for LegalZoom.
Oh my
should just
God, that would be
show-
so
We should just
funny.
show the JDate billboard ripped in half and just be like LegalZoom
Stop.
when things don't work out. Yeah.
But
I
you're
would totally
okay?
do it.
Were you sad?
Oh, there were 2 days that were very, very difficult.
2 days.
Look, nothing was easy.
Damn, men
but
are
I mean,
fucking savages.
No,
yeah, that was like 3 hours where I was kind of bummed. Then I was like, whatever, man. Now I can fuck bitches.
I
Yeah.
don't mean.
Dead.
Look,
It's okay. I'm just putting words in your mouth.
I didn't disagree with them, but like no,
Right.
they're. When I say 2 days, I don't mean it took 2 days. I mean there were 2 specific days through the
Where it
course
was
of it
really hard.
where I was like a wreck.
Yeah.
Where one was the day I had because I just hit the road.
Right.
And when I came back and packed up my stuff, and we had 3 dogs, one of them was basically mine, which is
Yeah.
Walter, who's still my dog.
Walter.
And the other 2, I used to joke that I was their mother's boyfriend.
Right.
Like,
Because they were hers.
right. I loved them,
Right.
but they were more hers.
Right.
And so, but saying goodbye to them was very, very
Sucks,
difficult. Like when I went back, I packed up my stuff, and once the car was packed, I went back in specifically to say goodbye to the dogs, and like that was really tough.
You like hugged them longer than you hugged her.
It was, yeah, absolutely. No, she wasn't there. We were smart about that,
okay,
you know.
okay.
But then, and then the other day was I went through some really crazy shit on the road where
Yeah.
I don't think we have time for the whole story. Someone got murdered at my hotel.
What?
Yeah.
While you were at the hotel?
I was not at the hotel. I came back to find. It's actually the story I opened my last special with, because I came back to find 52 police cars surrounding the hotel.
Okay, where can people watch the special?
It's called Secret Optimist, and it's free on YouTube or Amazon Prime.
Secret Optimist, guys, on YouTube. Go check it out so you can check out Steve Hofstetter. That way they'll have a reason to go
Hell
on
yeah, I
YouTube and look at
appreciate
you.
that.
You guys might already be on YouTube right now watching this, or you're listening, which I appreciate. And I've loved having you here today.
Thank you very much.
I know it's
Oh, did you
telling me
wanna-
to fucking wrap up, but I want to shout out your podcast,
Yeah.
which is called Failing Forward.
Failing Forward. We got to get you on.
I would love to come on. So Steve has a podcast. So Steve has a podcast called
Yeah.
Failing Forward.
I have there's definitely something
That's
called the
Failing
podcast for sure.
Forward with a T.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. It's
There-
Failing
no,
Forward.
I just if there's not something called a podcast, absolutely
yeah,
someone's going to
podcast.
start
No, there's
the podcast.
totally a podcast.
Yeah.
So Failing Forward is about people who are successful now, but the things that have happened to them to
Yeah,
get where or
we
horrible.
basically get stories of people fucking up or having the world, the rug pulled out from under them. The idea, so the first episode, so Danny Jallis tells a great story about getting replaced in a huge commercial campaign by a cartoon polar bear.
Oh man.
Dana Doot had an entire season of a sitcom he shot for a broadcast network that was pulled because the showrunner killed himself. It's crazy stuff like that.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And just like stuff that could have changed your life for the better and it just didn't work out.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So people have to go check it out, called Failing Forward on iTunes
And wherever good podcasts
are
are
available.
We're both on Studio
Or the teachers
71.
to
I'm
say,
sure it's on the
yeah,
same.
And wherever
yeah.
you listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
Steve, thank you for being here today.
Brittany, thanks for having me on.
It was so fun.
This
And I'm
was
sorry
great.
I was a little bit late on the way here.
You were
Come
not
all the way
forgiven.
from Calabasas. I know.
But
So
yeah.
don't forgive me.
I got to
don't
hang
deserve
out with
it.
your dog. I'm
Neither
perfectly
do
fine with it.
She's a good girlie. Okay, guys, make sure to like and subscribe. As much as I hate saying that, I appreciate all of your feedback and love and comments, and I read them all. And I'm so grateful for all of the wonderful reviews on iTunes. There's like over 1,000 nice reviews that
That's
are
amazing.
so great. There's a couple mean ones, but you know what? Fuck that. I love those too.
I still
love
feel
all
bad
of them.
about writing those. I'm sorry.
Oh, fucking Steve. I knew it was you. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening, and we will be back next week with another episode of Worst Firsts. See ya.
Thanks for having me on. Yeah, this was a ton of fun. Thank you.